Hi, this is the WTF SDK item creation tutorial part 2. So in the previous tutorial, we've basically gone over the creation process of this equipable leather armor from start to finish. And in this tutorial, we will be going one step further and start taking a look at the effects editor, which we will be using in conjunction with the items editor to create this next item, which is a spell-like trinket. So before we go into the effects editor, we'll actually need to first create a seed particle for us to use. So the first thing that we want to do is to go into the animation packages tab and create a new animation package. So for that, I need to start putting some of the resources that I prepared for this particular tutorial into the resource folder of my tutorial project. So I'm going to copy and paste this quickly. And go into content management, and we'll be using this Spark particle here. And as you can see, it's basically just a bitmap. And after I import it, this will become a single frame animation that I'll use for the particle effect. So I'm just going to quickly save here, close this, and start working with the effects editor. So obviously I do the same thing as all the other editors. I just need to click new to create a new particle effect. And I will do the same thing as all the other editors and start typing in a name. And this will be a standard effect type. And I'll change the seed particle from the default to the one that we've just created. And if you actually try testing the particle effect right now, and there's the play button in order for me to test, it actually has a default particle effect that's available for you to look at. But this isn't exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to tweak some of the parameters here, and if you don't want to look into the wiki, the best way for you to find out what each of these parameters does is to just start randomly changing the dials and see what happens. But for our purpose, what I want to do is create a sparkling effect that goes from the bottom to the top. So I am going to place the particle starting at the bottom of the character. So you can see it starts from the bottom now. Increase the X spread. So now the particle has a wider starting area. And instead of going outward, which is calculated from the center of the object, which is why all the sparks are going down right now, I want it to first go up and then down. So I need to put a bit of acceleration here in order for it to actually start going down in time. And I want to speed up the acceleration at the beginning so that it actually goes a bit higher. So I'm also going to tweak the seed particle amount here. So actually I want to fall down a little bit, so I'm going to increase drop, make it stop faster, and modify the size. So as you can see, we'll just be tweaking with the same parameters here until the animation looks satisfactory. And you can, and one thing that's usually best to do with these particles is to fade it out in time. So I recommend this for any particle effect that you create. so that you have a smoother transition from having the particles appear on the screen and having it disappear from the screen. So I guess I'm going to tighten the starting area and have a wider point of reference for the particles themselves. Oh, actually, yeah, I should probably change the orientation too. Actually, that doesn't look so well, so okay, I believe we have something here. It's not perfect, but it doesn't look too bad either. So now that we're done with all the parameters, I am going to hit save. And we are moving on to the third leg of this particular editor tutorial. So we've come to the final leg of the tutorial, and that's to go back to the items editor and actually create the item that has the particle effect. So the first thing that I want to do, same as the other item, is to create a new item through the new button. And I'll basically fill out all the basic information that's related to the item. Going to change the category, quality, and we will make this a trinket. A trinket in WTF can actually be a castable spell, and I want to import the resources that I've created from the previous tutorial. We'll be using this one, and like all items, I want to prepare a drop image just in case it's being used as a drop. So the next thing that we're going to deal with is the item procs. And since this is a spell-like trinket, I want to use a cast proc instead of a melee prop, which basically attaches a special effect to a melee attack. And since this is not a randomly cast item, I want the proc percent to be 100%, and I want to have a 6-second cooldown. So, and I'll set a, let's say it costs like 30 mana to cast, and costs 1.5 seconds to cast. And now that I've all the basic parameters set up, I am going to go into the procs editor. So procs are basically small effects that you can apply to the item to affect the game roll in some way. And the first thing that I want to do is to deal direct damage to the target. Let's say I want to do 10 to 20 damage. And once again, you can change the values directly instead of using the dialer by double-clicking on one of these knobs. And I want to apply the graphic effect that we just created to this particular spell attack. And I am actually going to change the type from on cast to a targeted cast, which is basically a specific spell type where you select a target and then you cast a spell. And believe it or not, that's basically all we need to do as far as the item editor is concerned, besides adjusting cost and level. So I am going to save. And we are ready to test. Oh, before that, we need to actually have it show up somewhere. So we will edit the quest that we've done again, and we'll add one more item reward. And we will add this spell-like trinket to the list of rewards. And we'll save and test. So the first thing we need to do is actually to run through the quest in order to get the item to test. So I'm just going to quickly do that. Pick up the items. And so here's the trinket that we've created. And to equip it, I just double click on it. And I can also equip this chest over here. And now I need a target to cast the spell on, and since I have the merchant targeted, I can do that right now. So there you go. And I'm out of mana. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial, and I'll see you next time.